What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and before we even get started with the drop, thank you for almost getting me to 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please consider clicking it right now. I would be greatly appreciative of that. But as for the drop this week, we have some pretty awesome games coming out for the Nintendo Switch, as well as games that are coming out on other platformers, and it seems like there's an overall space theme for a lot of these games this week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Kicking things off this week, we have the Solus Project coming out on the PlayStation 4. Earth has been destroyed and mankind lingers on a small fleet of ships near Pluto. As humanity's last hope, you are sent to scout a distant planet as a potential location for a colony. After years of space travel, disaster strikes, however, and your ship is destroyed when approaching the planet. With your team members dead and your equipment gone, you have no way of communicating or receiving help from anyone. You are completely and utterly alone. Desperate, you look for a way of phoning home, but as you explore the seemingly desolate planet, you uncover the dark secrets buried within its depths. In this otherworldly odyssey, you discover mystery upon mystery as you try to survive its harsh climate. Explore, survive through exploration, unlock the depths of the uncharted planet and secrets buried deep below. Delve into huge cave systems and tombs to uncover over 200 secrets. There is an atmosphere that has a rich environment and is fully dynamic. A day and night cycle in a dynamic weather system that calculates temperature, humidity, wind, ocean tides. Plants respond to the climate, storms form, earthquakes happen. Survive the extreme climate, tornadoes, storms, meteors, lightning, and of course the dark secrets buried beneath the surface. So the Solus Project is pretty much the spiritual successor to a game called The Ball that came out in 2010, and it takes place in the same universe, but essentially I'm getting a kind of puzzle solver, first-person exploration kind of vibe from this game. I kind of want to describe this game as a combination between The Witness and No Man's Sky, where you are on this planet and you are kind of wandering around trying to discover the secrets and find a way off the planet. However, unlike The Witness, there is, of course, as I described, a huge backstory behind what's going on within the plot itself. Another thing that sets this apart from a game like The Witness is the fact that there are survival elements implemented here. With external factors like tornadoes, storms, lightning, and of course all of the stuff that you're going to be discovering, then it does add a little bit more tension rather than just like The Witness wandering around solving puzzles. So overall, my read on the Solus Project is that it definitely is a pretty good idea that brings a lot of different elements from a lot of different games together to create a semi-unique experience. Is it going to be earth-shattering? No pun intended, because you know the Earth was destroyed in the game. Probably not, but could it be a potential Puzzle Game of the Year nominee if the puzzles are in fact strong enough and if that is a core element of the gameplay? Potentially, so you can check it out this week. Next up, we have Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC. The epic clash between two storied universes returns with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the next era of the highly revered action fighting game series. Marvel and Capcom universes collide like never before as iconic characters team up for action-packed player versus player combat. Imagined and created through a shared vision between the two companies, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite will feature a variety of exciting and accessible single-player modes and rich multiplayer content for new players and longtime fans alike. In addition to single-player arcade, training, and mission modes, a visually stunning and immersive cinematic story mode will put players at the center of both universes as they battle for survival against a sinister new threat, Ultron Sigma. I'm pretty sure that's some kind of sorority. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is being built to highlight a combination of iconic locations and fan-favorite characters from both universities, including Captain Marvel and Iron Man from the Marvel side, and Ryu and Mega Man X from Capcom. So this is one of the biggest fighting game releases of the year because people just love the crossover between the Marvel and Capcom universes, including myself, and I'm not remotely good at fighting games. I am positive that the people on the competitive scene are definitely going to be excited about this, and fans of the competitive fighting game scene are going to be excited about this release. But as for my personal taste, like I said, I'm not good at fighting games, so I tend to not play them. Though, do I plan on watching some competitive one-on-one head-to-head kind of streams of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? You better believe it. So if you want to check out the next generation of Marvel and Capcom crossovers, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is coming out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and the PC this week, so you better get that fight stick and prepare for your tournament. Next up, we have NBA 2K18 coming to the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, the Nintendo Switch, and the PC. If you have a gaming console that was released in the past 10 years, you can play on it. Except for the Wii and the Wii U and the Ouya. I take back back what I said. You know what I mean. I also want to preface this by saying that the game did come out last Friday for some versions of the game. I know there was an early tip-off edition, but I didn't want to kind of intermingle NBA Live and NBA 2K18 in the same week, so we're spreading them out and it's getting a feature this week. So whether it's late or not, you can decide. I still say it's perfectly on time. Run the Neighborhood. The future of sports career modes has arrived, allowing you to play the game the way you like. Build your career in NBA games, hit the courts and the playground park, join the Pro-Am circuit, or explore the shops and venues in an all-new open neighborhood setting featuring new MyPlayer upgrades and endorsement systems, our biggest cast of characters to date, including NBA players, and so much more. The Road to 99, the overarching metagame that rewards users for improving their MyPlayer's overall rating regardless of which modes they choose to play, featuring a unified badge system across Pro-Am Park and your NBA journey and My Career, your attributes, animations, and badges all combined to define your playstyle on your road to a 99 overall rating. I'm not familiar with NBA, but I assume that's good. Schedule challenges. Play through a 30-game schedule for each of the 30 NBA teams. Earn My Team points and prizes as you work your way through 900 unique challenges based on the 2017 to 18 NBA schedule. Elite gameplay. There is a new motion system. This new motion system brings player control to a new level of realism. Now, dribbling and off-the-ball movement are no longer driven by animations. This groundbreaking technology dynamically creates animations to deliver the best gameplay experience possible. You are now in control. An improved shot meter. Hit shots more consistently thanks to, well, I mean, that depends on who's playing. I'm probably not going to be hitting shots more consistently, but you can, thanks to an improved shot meter featuring multiple feedback points and more precise shot timing. Play with 62 of the NBA's greatest teams from the past, including 17 new additions. Pit your favorite classic roster against current NBA teams, replay epic finals matchups, find out if Shaq and Kobe can compete with, I've heard of them, can compete with great Lakers teams of the past, or match up the 97-98 Bulls against the 15-16 Warriors to settle the argument once and for all. The possibilities are endless. One thing I'm super excited about here is the fact that there is an open world section of NBA 2K. That is not something I ever thought was going to be possible. Now, of course, it is not going to be like GTA where you are playing a match of basketball, if that's a court, a matchup, whatever they call basketball, and you can just wander off the court and go steal a Maserati and then get a 5-star rating like GTA. That's not how things work. But you can pretty much wander around this neighborhood and go into shops, talk to people, and kind of explore, so to speak, and that's something that is completely and totally new. It would be very easy for the devs to just year after year pump out small improvements to animations or whatever kind of facial scanning features there are within the game. You can totally do that and the game would still sell incredibly well, but to be pushing the envelope and pushing the boundaries of what is possible within an NBA game, I mean, I can't help but respect that, even if I'm not exactly the audience that they have in mind. So with that being said, NBA 2K18 is coming out this week on pretty much the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as well as the PlayStation 3, the 360, the Switch, and the PC, if you are interested in picking it up. And I, of course, am going to be excited to see how the sales compare to NBA Live 18, which is making a comeback this year, or at least they're trying to make a comeback this year. Next up, we have Project Cars 2 coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC, with 180 cars carefully curated from the world's most elite brands in order to reflect the 9 disciplines of motorsport and 29 motorsport series in-game. Project Cars 2 has you covered no matter what gets your adrenaline racing. Each car in-game has been selected to represent a moment in time, an era of racing, and the sense of motorsport captured in all of its heroic beauty. This dude is passionate, whoever's writing this. Each car has been faithfully built to exacting standards with architecture that has been approved by each and every automaker and handling that has been tested and approved by half a dozen real-world drivers. Project Cars 2 is the vivid expression of racing, and that authenticity begins with the very soul of motorsport, the cars. This week we are seeing the release of Project Cars 2. Now, Project Cars, the original one, I was very excited for because it was kind of marketed as the next generation of racers. It was going to kind of outdo Forza, it was going to outdo Gran Turismo. The devs definitely built that one up, and it didn't necessarily fulfill all of those expectations for a lot of people, including myself. So with Project Cars 2 coming out this week, it's kind of building on the foundation that the original laid down, and I must admit that the trailer you are watching right here definitely looks leaps and bounds better than the original Project Cars did. Unlike games like Forza Gran Turismo and Drive Club that focus more on the overall racing experience, as the description reads, Project Cars focuses primarily on the cars themselves, on the way they handle, on the way they look, on the way they sound. All of the car-focused details of the game are what the developers are really focusing on for Project Cars. I mean, it's not Project Tracks, it's not Project Racing, it's just Project Cars. There's a lot of focus on the cars here. So if you are in the market for a brand new racing experience, then Project Cars 2 is coming out this week, and of course I am going to be interested to see how the game competes with Gran Turismo Sport as well as Forza Motorsport 7 this holiday season. Next up, we've got SteamWorld Dig 2 coming out on the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation Vita, the Nintendo Switch, and the PC, and the release dates are a little bit mixed up for the different versions of the game, so if you want it on a particular platform, I would recommend giving it a look and seeing when that particular version does come out if you want it right there on day one. Adventure awaits below the surface. Grab your pickaxe and dig into the sequel to the award-winning SteamWorld Dig, a platform mining adventure forged in Metroidvania flames. In search of her lost friend, a lone Steambot and her unlikely companion must dig deep, gain riches, and explore an underworld riddled with danger, but time is running short. So as the description says, the original SteamWorld is much like SteamWorld Dig 2 in that it has its roots in the Metroidvania kind of class of games, where you are pretty much given a pickaxe, you have a ladder down to what is called the underworld, if you want to call it that, and you can pretty much chisel your way and discover new kinds of enemies, discover new kinds of gold, then bring that gold back up to the surface and gems and whatnot, and redeem them for money that you can then spend to upgrade your stuff, and it's this never-ending cycle of grinding, exploring, discovering, mining, and then bringing it back up. SteamWorld Dig 2 looks to continue that same kind of gameplay with apparently a little bit more plot, but not too much plot because that doesn't necessarily lend itself to this kind of game, and I personally am excited to play it on the Nintendo Switch because I really do think it is going to shine there. So with that being said, SteamWorld Dig 2 is going to be digging into your PlayStation 4, PC, Vita, and Nintendo Switch this week on different days. So again, check to see when your platform is being released. Next up, we've got Raiders of the Broken Planet coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC. An incredible discovery on one of Saturn's moons leads a force of humans to a broken planet on the far reaches of the universe. A source of energy called Aleph exists that grants ultimate power to whoever controls it. However, after becoming trapped on the planet, the human forces split into factions and fight amongst themselves for supremacy and dominion over Aleph. The peaceful inhabitants of the planet decide enough is enough, and a hero emerges amongst them who hopes to lead his people to freedom. Using nefarious means and exploiting the disunity amongst the human ranks, Harek recruits a ragtag group of rogues, outlaws, and hired guns from the various factions and pits them against those who would destroy his people. As they begin to fight back against the human invaders, the Raiders soon face a new deadly threat, wholly intent on making the entire universe burn just for kicks. Whose side will you take in the fight to come? Move to the next slide to discover more in our video with our team. Apparently I copied and pasted this very well. So when it comes to Raiders of the Broken Planet, I'm really getting a heavy Gears of War vibe here, because pretty much the way that you get more ammo is by meleeing enemies, the way that you pretty much have to fight is through staying close to cover and then kind of picking your shots and picking people off, and then also alternatively rushing up and just completely decimating them if that's your kind of gameplay style. Obviously there are slight variations, but if you are a fan of Gears of War multiplayer, then this game is probably one that you're going to want to keep your eye on, and it's coming out on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC this week, though I definitely wouldn't get this one day one. I would kind of wait a couple of weeks, see how the community kind of fleshes itself out, and if it does in fact have a following. Otherwise, you might have a Lawbreakers kind of situation. And last but not least, we have a big release for a lot of people this week coming to the Nintendo Switch by the name of Pokkén Tournament DX, haha. Introducing the first Pokemon title for the Nintendo Switch console. Take direct control of one of 21 prized Pokemon fighters to defeat other Pokemon in arena fights. Call upon support Pokemon to assist in the fight, then unleash your Pokemon's unique burst attack to climb atop the ranks. A Nintendo Switch with the two Joy-Con controllers attached to it allow for various ways to play. Pokkén Tournament DX is compatible with all modes, tabletop mode, TV mode, and handheld mode, so you can freely change modes to enjoy playing however you like. Along with all of the features from both the arcade version and the Wii U version of Pokkén Tournament DX is also full of brand new features. Pokemon that were added to the arcade version are included, and Decidueye from Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon will also appear as a battle Pokemon. Can we come up with another name for Pokemon? Over 20 Pokemon overflowing with personality will be joining the battles. Specifically, as the first paragraph said, 21. So don't make it more than it is. There are going to be 21, not more over 20, you know? I mean, technically, but still. So Pokkén Tournament was released in pretty much two different ways. One was an arcade machine that was primarily in Japan, and the other one was through a Wii U version of the game that was pretty well received. Instead of being the trainer in this Pokemon game, you literally take control of the Pokemon themselves, and it kind of has a more arcadey experience. I played it a time or two in a Target or a Walmart or something. It wasn't necessarily my thing, but it's a big deal that it is finally coming to the Nintendo Switch. Of course, Pokemon fans would more than likely want to have a real true-to-heart Pokemon game, but to have Pokkén Tournament is certainly a move in the right direction and is going to be able to kind of hold people off and at least give some kind of Pokemon experience for the Nintendo Switch until a true, fully realized Pokemon game is going to be coming, which should come in the next couple of years or so. If you are a follower of the channel, you probably have guessed this is not my thing. I won't be playing this. But I did want to mention it here on the drop because a ton of people are Pokemon fans, a ton of people are Pokkén Tournament fans, and a ton of people are going to be playing this on their Nintendo Switch whenever it does drop later on this week. And to wrap things up, a couple of honorable mentions. The Coma Recut is coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC. Speedrunners from Hell, a game that we mentioned last week, is making its way to the Xbox One. The Lego Ninjago movie video game is coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, a pretty big game, but not one that I felt we should fully flesh out here on the drop to kind of take away from crowding, is coming out on the Nintendo Switch, so definitely check that one out if you are a fan of Dragon Ball. And then Thimbleweed Park, one of the more popular indie games of the past couple of years, is also making its way to the Switch. That about wraps it up for this week's episode of The Drop. If you enjoyed this video, drop me a like down below, and if you happen to be new to the channel, I have an entire playlist of drops from the past, like, 3 years of games that have come out, so you can check that out if you are interested, and of course there is a ton of other content that I upload throughout the week, and I am streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheSamuelAdams if you wanted to check that out. But as for right now, I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I will talk to you soon. Peace.